Well, the latest report looking into deaths in Australia has found coronary heart disease was the most common underlying cause. The report by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare analysed the 191,000 registered deaths in 2022. Michelle Gourley from the Institute joins me now. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Kath. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Look, firstly, if we can just take a bit of a step back, and when you look at how many people die and the causes of those deaths, it really does give you a pretty vital snapshot of the health of a population. Looking at these results, how would you characterise the health of our nation more broadly?
Yeah, well, our report goes into all of the health conditions that are reported in Australian deaths each year. So it looks at those conditions that not just the causes that initiate the death, but also all of the causes that might have had a contributory role in the death and the risk factors that also might have had an impact. And I think this report really shows that there's a wide range of different health conditions that do affect people's health. So looking at coronary heart disease, which we did find was the most common cause of death, it caused about 1 in 10 deaths, but it was actually involved in many more deaths if we did look at all of the information included on death certificates. And what the report did also find is that causes such as hypertension and some of the risk factor related conditions were actually quite common in deaths recorded each year in terms of having a role in terms of having an impact with the other chronic conditions that actually cause the death.
Yeah, let's get stuck into some of the numbers a little bit more in a granular sense. I mean, I noticed that the report had the leading cause of death for males was coronary heart disease, followed by dementia, including Alzheimer's, but that was flipped for females as well. Can you unpack sort of the top 5? That's
right, yeah. So dementia was actually involved in about twice as many deaths for females as it was in males. So for males, we did see that coronary heart disease, dementia, some of the cancers like lung cancer came out in the top 5. Also COVID was in there at about 4th. And for females, as we say, dementia was the leading underlying cause, followed by coronary heart disease. Some of the other heart conditions like cerebrovascular diseases also featured in the top 5.
Oh, have I still got you there?
Yes, you've still got
hi.
me here.
Sorry, I thought we lost you just for a moment. Interestingly, when you look at, if you take gender out of it, but then you look into the report, you have the age groups, which I found quite interesting. If I could talk to you about a few of those. When you were speaking about coronary heart disease, that it seems to be the number one for people aged between 45 and 84, and I was interested to see between that 45 and 74 age range that lung cancer came in second.
Yeah, so lung cancer was quite a common cause of death, particularly for males in those older age groups. For females, we saw other cancers like breast cancer coming into the top 5 or top 10 conditions. And in the older ages, so say 85 and over, dementia was very prominently the most common cause of death.
Yeah, and probably not surprisingly, coronary heart after that. But then COVID ranks 3rd and 4th for that older cohort, which says it's still, you know, a very big threat to certain cohorts of society.
That's right, yeah. So COVID was definitely a prominent cause of death in older Australians. We didn't see it featuring much in the middle ages or the younger ages. And it was also reported as a condition that may have contributed to deaths, say that were recorded for things like other heart conditions in a small proportion of deaths.
And heartbreakingly, when you look at the other end of that age spectrum, those aged between 15 and 24, suicide was the first ranked there.
That's right, yes. So suicide was a very common cause of death, particularly in males in that age range. And we did find things like other alcohol and substance use disorders as playing a prominent contributory role in the deaths among those age groups.
Yeah, okay. Look, it's been great speaking with you to unpack the state of our health. Michelle Gourley, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.